Welcome, 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 trivalent beings of spirit, mind, and body. Time for the Ask Doc Alkebulanese Solution Show, sponsored by Prometheus Reborn Universal Foundation, also known as Proof. Its mission is to spread the trivalent understanding noetics, featuring stand-up philosophy that includes anthropology, psychology, biology, metaphysics, medicine, psychodrama, comedy, and music through a genre called edutainment, educating while entertaining, coined by KRS-One. The host of this wonderful show is Dr. Kwaku L. Carlisle Woods, RN, MD, Met D1, and myself, co-host, Dr. Hamida Rockman Woods, MED, PhD, Met D2. Well, as you already know, I have the PH.
I have the M.
We both have D's. That makes us Doc Squared. The title of the day's show is What's Going On?
What's going on, y'all? We're going to give you a little insight into that question as well as some other, I would say, enabling images. But first, we got to talk about the Hip Hop Trio Plus like we do every week. We are working on a new song. I want to tell you the name of it, but before I tell you the name, I want you to know that the name of the song is just the name of the song. The name of the song is Hostage to Your Bullshit. Now, notice I said bullshit. We'll explain that JIT is a way of looking at reality through your own experience without taking into consideration history, science, or reason. But yeah, once we finish that, we're gonna be killing it. And we have a guy by the name of D.L. Hughley. We communicated with this past 24 hours ago. We're waiting for a response from him. We should be on his program sometime in the next 30 days, if the Lord says the same.
Yes, imagine that for us, you all. Imagine that for us.
Hot dog, yes, please. Now, my wife and I watched a movie. It was a movie about the Buffalo Soldiers.
You're correct.
Okay.
There was another conversation I was responding to.
Okay. All right then. I'm glad there's another one. Now, this movie was, there it is. Naval Commander Carlton Philpott, chairman and project director of 8 monuments memorializing the history of African American soldiers. Buffalo Soldiers was what we watched. We had also watched 6888. That's the Central Postal Directory Battalion, all Alkebulanese females, featured in 6888 by Tyler Perry, the movie that he just got through making. These sisters went over to Europe in World War II and taught everybody a whole new way of doing things. But we do that, and we've been doing that for about 400 years. But we talked to our brother, Commander Philpott, and we talked to him for about a half hour, 45 minutes.
It was such a treat, such an honor that he called. I had emailed him, and in return, he decided he would call.
He called, and we talked and talked. He's in Kansas City, where we both used to live.
Yeah, actually in Kansas City, Missouri. And he also promised us to guide for a tour guide, a free tour guide of the Buffalo Soldiers Museum.
Absolutely.
There in Kansas City, Missouri. There's also one in Leavenworth.
Yes. Okay. That's where we're at. Now I'm going to turn this over to my lovely, charming, sexy, beautiful wife.
Well, last week we're going to follow up with Kwanzaa. As you already know, Dr. Maulana Karenga was the creator of Kwanzaa, and he calls the principles that he uses, or he applied, Nguzu Saba.
Nguzu Saba.
Nguzu Saba. And the spiritual significance of Kwanzaa that he expressed was in developing the principles are to be used to make collection a vocation. That means your purpose in life. The building and development of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness, he
Ashe.
said. Now, last month we started with Nia purpose. And in Twi, it's Botai.
Yeah.
That's what we
Naive.
started with. And so now we're in February, right, everybody? And we're going to start with, on a Monday, we've already started this Monday, with this one is, excuse me, Imani, faith. Uh, Imani is a Swahili word. He used in Nguzu
Saba.
Saba, Nguzu Saba. He used the Swahili language, which is East Africa. Twi is West Africa, and the only reason why we're including it is because we practice a kind of spirituality. We want to include it as much as we possibly can.
I am chief of Lorte province
Yes.
in Ghana.
Yes.
She is the Queen Mother.
Yes. So we want to celebrate that every time. So, um,
Buzzer.
so faith in Twi is Jaedi. Jaedi.
That's it.
My husband has
Yeah.
chose to reorder the principles of Nguzu Saba to make it more effective by practicing it every month. So again, last month we practiced purpose, botai, and this month we're practicing
Faith.
faith, which is Nia. No, faith is, I'm still learning this too myself.
Yeah, it's right. The Swahili is near, but
Yes.
the Twi.
Imani is faith, the Swahili. That's what I was trying
I'm
to get
sorry.
back to.
Okay.
Yes. So my husband put these principles in an order that can be effective to make you apply it more effectively. And I'd like to see that slide of the way that it has been reorganized.
There it is. There it is.
Yes. So faith is the second one. We started on Monday, the first Monday in February. And faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. It is also the evidence of things hoped for, the substance of things unseen. Hebrews 11:1.
Yes.
My husband also adds that imagine all concepts such as love, courage, fear, and other formless things. They are all made by the faith we placed in that concept.
Yes.
All things we hope for are brought to reality by that faith. Except that much of our seen world is controlled by our faith in unseen things, like the faith in the Most High. Also, faith is the antidote to guilt.
Guilt, shame. Faith and grace is the antidote. We accept much of our seen world, but we also accept at least a portion of our unseen world. And that acceptance with our spirit uses faith to elevate your living. But that's something we're going to be working on every time we come here. The new order, the most effective order, and why you should be doing it.
Yes.
But right now, I'm about to flip the script. I'm going to go into something that nobody's been going into like I always do. But this time it has much more personal impact on everybody on this planet. And that's the effects of what COVID did to us as a people, as a culture, as
Yes.
you see, as human beings, our primary mode of interaction is social.
Yes.
all of the primates, all of those in our genus species.
Yes. Well, let's first imagine COVID mass people isolated from groups.
Yes, that's us. That's what we did. And all of our relatives, chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, whatever, primates, they are all social and they have both individual and group social practices. Without those things, I'm sure not only would anxiety and frustration rule, but there would probably be some deterioration of functional ability to some degree. You wouldn't be able to do things as well as you normally would.
Mm-hmm.
But examining what went on back then through space-time when we were dealing with the effects of trying not to die from COVID, we need to try to examine the feelings of separateness that accompanied not going to work, not going to school, not going to restaurants, not going to clubs, or any of the social gatherings of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
That's the opposite of being social. And during COVID, nobody went to school, work out, to eat, or any gatherings of any sort for weeks to months. Let's take a look at how that separateness, that not being able to make those social contacts, affect both your mind space that you occupy and the world around it.
Yes, those empty churches,
Oh, God, yes.
schools and jobs.
Yes.
You all
Let's go
remember
back
that?
a little bit, just a year or so, back in space-time.
Imagine it.
Okay. Now,
That's the primates. Let's move on to number 5.
number 5. Okay. We're going to head back for you to understand this a lot more. We're going to go back to your first beginnings as a human being. And this goes pretty much for every human being that is
So we're
alive
going to go to the primates. That's right.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's beginning, and that beginning is a beginning as a human being that is complete and separate from the human being who brought you here, generally called your mother. Once you are separated from her, in that first instant after the experience of birth, you become aware of sensations you have never experienced before.
Newborn.
Like cold. An infant newborn
Number
has
6.
never experienced cold in their life. And that's what it makes them do. They have never been outside 98.6. They have never been anywhere near room temperature. And suddenly, covered with all of this moisture and this greasy film of lubricant that helps them to become delivered, they are cold for the very first time. And when you have never experienced any type of sensation, it is disturbing and completely uncomfortable. After the first few moments, you kind of adjust to it and you start to do the things that a living, separate being does. Like breathing, moving, all those things you need to continue being alive.
Yes. Let's go to number 7.
Now, we are going to talk in general about how your brain receives these things as an infant and how it deals with these feelings of dissatisfaction, uncomfortableness, feeling separated. But this is something that is primarily in an infant, done generally more with their spirit than their mind. Your spirit enables, your spirit protects, and your spirit imagines or visualizes. And without language, this infant is visualizing what these sensations are. Its spirit is in control, though it does not understand that at this particular time.
Okay.
But we as human beings don't understand our spirits to any great degree. In Alkebulanese, we spend a lot of time dealing with spirit. Europe doesn't. America doesn't. But that infant does. And we want to give you a demonstration of some of the things that may be going on in that infant's being. There is a song that my wife and I would like to sing for you. We're going to do it live. It's, what's the girl's name that sang this?
Cyndi Lauper.
Cyndi Lauper. Time After Time. But we're going to do this a little different way. We're going to do it as your spirit talking to your conscious body. As we go through, Doc Square introduces Time After Time. You are a trivalent being, spirit, mind, and body. Your spirit rarely communicates with you consciously, but if it did, I think the conversation might go a little something like this.
Lying in my bed, I hear the clock tick and think of you. Caught up in circles, confusion is nothing new. Flashback, warm nights, almost left behind. Suitcase of memories. Time after sometime you'll picture me. I'm walking too far ahead. You're calling to me. I can't hear what you have said. Then you say, go slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwind. If you look, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you, I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you look, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you, I will be waiting. Time after time. I'm that part of you, deepest part of you. I'm your spirit that you don't recognize. Way down part of you, I'm that part of you. I'm your spirit that you don't understand. But then after your picture fades and darkness has turned to gray, watching through windows, you're wondering if I'm okay. Secrets stolen from deep inside. The drum beats out of time. If you look, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you, I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you fall, time after time, time after time after time, time after time after time. You said go slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwind. If you look, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you, I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you look, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you look, I will catch you, I will be waiting. Time after time. 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 Time after time.
time after time.
Time after time. Time after time.
Oh, yeah.
Time after time, y'all.
Time after time, y'all.
Your spirit is always
Always there. Though you don't understand it, though you don't recognize it, it is there operating your being. But inside of all of that going on in the mind space, especially the space right next to its spiritual connection, in a infant just born, this is going to be his conscious mind.
Number 8.
And it is going through some very uncomfortable realizations and has come up with one general universal question. What's going on? Now, as I have told many, many people, I speak about 10 or 12 languages, and in every one of those languages, the most important part of that language are the questions.
The questions.
If you ask the right questions, even if you get the wrong answer, you're in the general area.
That's right.
You ask the wrong questions, even if you get the right answer, you jacked up.
Yeah.
So, questions. The first question any child has after experiencing cold, after experiencing uncomfortableness, after experiencing resentment, after experiencing rejection. That is the mindset of all living humans as they regain a certain, let's say, effusive welcoming of being alive. You get to the point where you say, what is going on now? And it has no answer. But it has a space, and that space acts as both a magnet or a suction, drawing to it all things that might pose an answer to that question, what's going on? You are now looking at all human beings. All human beings are now looking for things that fill that empty space.
Yes.
That are answers for the question, what is going on?
Shout out to Darren Jones, which is our girl, Kenya. KK.
KK. We love you, baby.
Hey, back to you. We love you.
Okay. This answer of what's going on. It's how our minds first attack this place we are in. This reality that we are in, our mind attacks it by first trying to ask that question without any language, because no child has a language when they are first born. You're looking for things to fill that empty space. There are answers for what is going on.
Yes.
It's how our minds first attack this reality. And it's held to the largest degree. We not only understand direct consistency, we not only understand what is going on and learn the existence of others, but to a degree we transcend what's going on and come to the question, why is it going on? And how can we affect that? That's how human minds functions, and that's how they start functioning. Woo, woo, woo. But going back to that child, let's take a look at the first time generally a child has that feeling of separateness and rejection that most of us suffered unknowingly through COVID, when we were not allowed to have the normal socialization that as a species, we are not only used to, we require.
Let's skip to that imagination slide for number 10 for that.
All righty. Imagination side, late cues. Calm me, then feed me. Uh-huh. This is what happens to children who are feeling rejected, feeling irritated, feeling really uncomfortable. And what is the first time that that happens? Generally, when they are feeding.
Let's go to 9 now.
Because of the overall feeling when human beings don't socialize like they're used to, socializing like they want to socialize, there's a certain degree not only of tension, anger, and frustration, but a vulnerability that comes from you being cut off from life, from your regular modes of living. And that separation, that rejection, as it were, makes you feel threatened and vulnerable.
Let's move to number 11.
It makes you feel fearful. And all of those lead to some rather degenerative ends, such as gained by understanding and dealing with the understanding of what that feeling means and where that comes from. I guarantee you that at least at some point in every human being's first existence, this thing called hunger is not too far removed from the first hours of existence. It comes and it is assuaged by breast or bottle. It doesn't matter. However, this is something that is probably much more widespread than we would ever recognize. If the infant is stopped from sucking before they are ready to stop, there's a whole bunch of bad things that go on. Most mothers know that it's a feeling of real pain. Pulling at the nipple or bottle, twisting and trying to make sure that you can get back to it, stuff like that, because they don't want to live with this feeling of rejection, of being by themselves. But for the infant, it is a really important rejection. It's a rejection of this being's desires and needs. It has been rejected. When I stop them from nursing, eating,
Number 11.
that's when they feel rejected. That's how it's experienced. And it is in every human being's spiritual armor material. Every human being has had this experience and relates. Look at that expression on that child's face. Yeah, he wants what you just took from him. And he's letting you know it with an expression. You feel that. Lots and lots of different images are used inside this child's spirit to relate this rejection. Lots and lots of different types of internal philosophies are created. But you got to remember that this was before any of us had words. We did not have any words to relate to anything. Okay, let me back up. Listening. We told you this before. Listening versus hearing. Hearing is physical. Listening is spiritual, because to listen to something, you hear a sound that causes your spirit to make an image of what that sound means. Listening means that you have meaning behind the sounds. Hearing means you just have the sounds, and there is no spiritual input.
Would you give the example you normally give to our listeners about using their imagination?
Sure. You want the desert?
The listening, the desert, or the jungle. That's the one that came to my spirit.
Okay. I want everybody out there in the audience to close your eyes just for a second. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. That means make pictures out of what I'm saying. You are in a jungle. You are walking through a steaming hot jungle. It is so hot you are sweating in places you didn't know you could sweat in. You're walking down a very narrow path and having to move aside branches from bushes that are 7 foot tall and trees that extend down. You are coming up to a little narrow area, and just as you get there, you hear a sound on the other side of this area. You stop. You take one step backward and, okay, stop. Open your eyes. You have just been using your spirit. That is not your mind. We have been looking in the mind for something called an engram for at least the last several decades, and we haven't found it because it doesn't exist there. It's part of your spirit. Your spirit imagines. Your spirit visualizes. Your mind doesn't. Your spirit visualizes things, sends those images to your minds, and your minds make up meanings for those images. And that meaning is sent to your body. What do you have to do based on that meaning? Leave, stay, get warmer, go eat, what? That's how you work. It's how all human beings work. And we are not taught this. I had to end up creating this and writing it up as the Trivalent Understanding Noetics. That's what I got nominated for the X Prize for, and that's what I went to the United Nations Incentive to Innovation Conference and told the world about how humanity functions. Okay, but there is a guy who came out with a song and it told you what's going on. Come to think of it, that was the title of it, What's Going On? Guy's name was Marvin Gaye. Marvin came out with another song that explained to you exactly what was going on. And he came up with a song that taught you musically what is going on. And the name of that song is The Artist Pays the Price. And Hip Hop Trio Plus is going to do that for you. I want you to listen. Make images of this song. Get it, y'all.
The artist pays a price, so you don't have to pay. If only you would listen to what he has to say. There are songs from wisdom, there are songs from hating, there are songs from loving, and there are songs from Satan. There are songs from lust, there are songs from pain. Some songs were done by children men, some are men insane. Move to groove on the line one time. Move children to the right side. Advance children to the light. We're looking good. Oh, advance children to the light. Some songs will show you which way to go. If only you would listen.
Listen up.
There are songs will turn you on, show you how much is missing. Songs we're meant to listen to, be checking out the best. Good songs were sent to man from God to help us pass the test. Life is for learning, and the purpose is joining up with the Lord. 1,000 bodies needed, but your soul is never destroyed. Your love, darling, this is all you require. And all you want is a little understanding today. Sometimes storm can prophesy a warning from the master. Make your soul listen to him to make you learn it faster. The devil has a special plan to make hot songs for sinners. Then God will turn it around, make good songs for winners. song can corrupt your flesh to dust. The only song that you can live on, song that you can trust. The artist pays a price. So you don't have to.
I enjoyed that,
Yes.
y'all. I enjoyed that. I really, really did. And we hope you listened
Yes.
to it.
Yes.
The images that it brings are the images that explain to you what's going on
Yeah.
musically at any rate.
Going on.
Okay.
All right.
Now, we were talking about the newborn child, and at that point in our existence, we are like we were when we were the first humans. No language, and using grunts, wails, cries, and pointing at stuff. That's an infant child. And again, that's why being trivalent makes you more than a regular person, because a trivalent being has more understanding of what's going on, and they can control what's going on with the tools of the trivalent understanding noetics. Okay. An infant freshborn has absolutely little to no understanding. So of course, they are frustrated and confused.
Yeah.
They know everything because they still have a part of God in them that allows them to feel everything that was, everything that is, and everything that shall be. That's knowing. Knowing is emotional, spiritual. Understanding is intellectual. Happens in a totally different part of your brain than knowing. Knowing occurs in the limbic system. Understanding occurs in the precentral gyrus, right up under your skull. But that's why that question, what's going on? That's why that question is in every infant. That's why that question has such magnetism and draws answers from every quadrant that there is. It is very important making that space to suck down all those other answers. It's one of the most important things that human beings can do. It is even more important that we understand us. That's what the trivalent understanding is about. That's what we're trying to do to humanity. And if the Lord says the same, we will be doing a whole lot more of that in a whole lot of more places with a whole lot of more people in the next 90 days.
Yes.
Until then, we got...
Yeah, we finished up. It is now 8:39.
Okay.
And
We got any questions?
some
We
phone
got
calls.
any Ask Doc questions? We need some questions. We gave y'all an hour worth of show. It didn't last but 40 minutes, so.
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
Dealing with our emotional self, I understand that we come here deep in our root chakra. That's where we begin our development. Spiritually, we talk about our physical development. And in reference to people responding to their emotions, coming straight from their root chakra, when you say that once we've been here long enough, if we're given the tools, we get an understanding of how that emotion that exists there, how to understand it, the purpose of it. So could you give us a little bit more insight on how people just instinctively respond to something and they feel that they're right because it feels so deep. It feels so, emotions feel so right.
Let me
us.
give you a review of spiritual maturity, and mayhap that way we'll do that. As you correctly assessed, when a person is born into this reality, their spirit is wide open for what's going on. But they just came from a place at the Akan called a Wuo, and they have been a part of, a functional part of God. They believe that everything that they think is real, and everything they want done should be done. Every child ever born comes here with that mindset. That's why children act that way, that everybody else ought to respond to them. They should respond to their needs. They should respond to their wants and desires. And a child will stay like that until they're about 2 or 3 years old. Now, this only occurs, number one, if you have a figure that acts maternally comforting and reassuring. A individual must attach to another individual, and again, it's usually a mother figure, or they will not stay here. They will die. It's called failure to thrive. And if a child does not attach to someone without any other disease, without any other problems, they will die. They will not stay here. Once they are attached to that one other individual, it's like that one other individual is their servant, and that's how mothers act, like they're servants of the child, and basically they are. This is the way that that child's spirit's going to be until they're about, like I said, 2 or 3 years old, when they attach to others. If there is a father figure around or siblings, they will attach to them. And now they get into a little friction because they understand that, quote unquote, mother is supposed to be their servant. Who are these other folks? What's going on? Again, that same question. Now this child has to take their spirit and, at least to some degree, move it away from being godlike. Now I got to associate with other beings, and unfortunately, those other beings often want me to do stuff for them. Like smile, laugh, try to stand.
Do what they see others doing.
They want me to do other things. And I find it kind of enjoyable trying these other things. Now
that is your your chi part of your spirit.
Yes, but it is also a whole lot of your intoro.
Okay.
Because again, this does not usually come unless you have a father figure there to allow a second attachment.
Okay, and you're copying off that
Yes.
intoro. I see.
Absolutely.
Without judgment, you just.
Yeah,
I see.
You're a child.
Yes.
You have no judgment. You
Right.
don't know none of this.
Right.
You are still trying to find out
You
what's
know it, but you
going
don't
on.
understand it, right?
Yeah. This is the way a child's mind and spirit organize and operate until they're about maybe 4 or 5, going into preschool and going into kindergarten, where they are running up against others like themselves. And all of the others like themselves want to be God.
Yeah.
All of them are used to having everybody obey them and respond to their needs. So everybody has a problem, because you either are going to continue to act like God and think you're God and think that everybody should do what you say and do what you need and do what you wish, or you're going to compromise and say, okay, I'm going to follow somebody else's wishes, needs, or desires. This, regardless of which way you go, now changes your spirit.
So now then you're in your solar
Solar plexus.
plexus. Thank
Right.
you.
This is where your spiritual maturity is up until you're about maybe these days 11, 12 years old. Because now you're starting to come into sexual maturity, and you're starting to be attracted to those of the opposite
Making
sex.
judgments. Mm-hmm.
This change in how your spirit sees reality and sees you and sees the life that you're living.
Yeah. Practicing your will.
It changes what you were as a quote unquote child. Because now you're heading toward adulthood. This only intensifies up until the time you're about 18. 18, 19, 20, yeah, that's when it's most intense. And people are trying to become mated. Whether this is just boyfriend, girlfriend, or wife, husband.
That desire to want to connect to all life.
Yes. At least to connect to others.
Okay, so that's
Your heart chakra.
Yes. Lest we forget any of those who might not be attracted to the opposite sex, that attraction still works the same way to those of the same sex at about that time. Getting into the early 20s to really the mid 30s is when your spirit is now trying to find a family to start of your own. Most cultures, and it doesn't matter what country you're from or what your race or religion is, they are trying to get married between, really 17 and 30.
So they are expressing concepts
Yes.
of life. Okay.
And these concepts are going to be dictated primarily by the culture and in some instances the religion that culture practices.
And this is development of the throat chakra.
Yes. You are now discussing this and talking about this and listening to others discuss these things on a wide forum of different means. Television, radio, newspapers, books, whatever.
Mind your senses.
This is the way that most human beings' spirits are going to process this existence until they are in their 50s. You get 50s, 60s, now you're thinking about your legacy.
Connecting to ancestors. Your third eye.
You are doing a whole lot more trying to put things together for your departure. Back to a wuo. In English, it's called death. It's not really. Believe me, I have died, and I'm fighting, telling y'all I can't wait to do it again, because I can. I still have a bunch of stuff that I got to do here, and that's what they told me when I died before, that it wasn't my time. I had a whole bunch of stuff that I had to do here. And that's why you're looking at me now. But the experience of dying is so very pleasurable. You release a whole bunch of uncomfortable sensations physically, emotionally, and images spiritually, and you're in a warm, light coming from everywhere place that is just enabling. You feel more focus, feel more energy, you feel more everything.
That you can imagine through your crown chakra, being with the Most High, where you once were before, though
Yes.
I have not experienced what we call a wuo and return back to this place. My husband has. I still have a sense, faith that the Most High exists, and because of that, I use my imagination to follow that sense of that creation, creator.
Absolutely. But you need not listen to anything that comes out of my mouth. And I tell everybody that. Use anything that comes out of my mouth as a source for your own exploration and investigation.
Yes, honey.
But, and this is a big but, If you listen to anybody who has had a death experience, everybody, again, regardless of the country they're from, the language they speak, or the religion they worship, everybody has exactly the same experience.
The feeling of warmth, the feeling
The
of
light.
no pain,
Yeah,
loved.
communicating without words. All of that occurs in a wua.
Well, those I have read that said that were words, I question.
Well,
Because
they will.
that might have been the best
They
way
will
they knew how to
perceive
express it.
Yeah, they will perceive it as
Okay.
words. It's not really words. It's images. But if you're listening to words, that's what you are experiencing. Images. Okay. Does that help?
That helps a lot.
Great. Well, I got a question. I did it. We still got 8 minutes left. Anything else? Mick, you got any questions? Malia is gone.
Yep, Leah's
Micah?
gone. Just
Yeah.
want to say I enjoyed the show. Everybody who's watching, please share,
Yes, please.
Yes.
subscribe, like, all that good stuff.
Yes, and doesn't have to be right now on the show, though KK is with us. It could be later on that you watch this, maybe a week later, maybe a year later. Share. Don't hold it to
Share,
yourself.
subscribe.
I do have a question off the topic a little bit.
Come on in.
What do you guys think about all these, a couple of plane crashes?
Oh,
talked
there's been
about-
another one
We talked about the fires.
today in
all of that.
Arlington, Texas.
In Arlington,
There's a lot of
Texas,
stuff
there's
going
another
on.
plane crash. Yes, sir, and I believe, personally myself, this is a call to order. This is a wake up, you mother
Yeah.
scrubbers, right now,
Yeah.
because shit's going down. And it's going down nasty.
Yeah.
And it's going down very badly. People who have done little to nothing wrong, who have had a very enabling existence, are dying. All of the skaters on the first plane, the young child from Mexico, all of these people who are medical assistants and aides, and all of these people are the ones primarily that have been the victims.
Suffering from this.
I think we're going to have a lot more. And I think that unless the Democrats decide to get off their ass
Right.
and impeach this mother again, we're going to be heading into a whole lot worse, my brother.
We truly have faith that this is the morning of the age of Aquarius.
Absolutely, you
And,
go.
right. And this is, it's their time is over. That's what the rush is all about.
Yes. We're going to follow my wife's lead. Our next Wednesday's first song is going to be The Age of Aquarius. I guarantee be me.
To the fifth power.
Yes. Fifth Dimensions. They're all from my hometown, or at least most of them are. I think 2 of them aren't, but all the rest are from St. Louis, the Ville. Okay. That it?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that was to me, it's very disturbing to know that a whole team of skaters,
Yeah.
parents,
Yes.
Yeah.
things like
Coaches.
that.
It kind of
Coaches.
reminded me of Kobe and
Yes.
not only
Yeah.
just him and his daughter, but the other young people that were on the plane.
Yes.
Right.
And parents.
That's like, wow, it's hard to fathom
It is.
that those people lost their lives.
Yeah.
And they probably were good people. You know what I'm saying?
It
Yeah.
seems
Yeah.
unfair.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
That's what it seems. Bad people should die like that.
Especially the girl that got the medical treatment. They saved her
Yes.
life, and then she flew on
Yeah.
the flight and then went
Then
right
the flight
down.
died.
Yeah.
In 40 seconds. They said that's how long they were in the air. 40 seconds.
So you kind of alluded to good people dying with a lot of stuff coming up. Why do you think that is? Or
God's trying to get them out the way before the shit could hit the fan.
Yeah. Same way with California. Earthquakes. They're having a tsunami as we speak.
Right now, this second, they've had 2 earthquakes, a 6.5 and a 5.8.
Right.
Two different quakes, one in the center and one up north.
Right. And the Nevada mountains are sinking.
Yes, the Nevada mountains are sinking, and right, as my wife said, this second, they're looking for the tsunami that this earthquake is going to bring, and it's going to wash out a large section of the West Coast.
Yes. That's due to happen.
Yeah, we knew that's going to happen. That's why I didn't go to the West Coast. And I haven't went to the West Coast in 15 years.
I feel like the Most High is calling people to leave there.
Well, somebody is, our youngest daughter, who's in an automobile accident yesterday, she related to us that there was a brother here who went out to California. He was a dancer, a professional dancer like she was.
Young man.
He had a dance troupe that was named 216, because he's from Cleveland. But about a year ago, something told him to leave Los Angeles.
Yep.
He was told, and he didn't know by who or what, it was the ancestors, that he needed to leave and come back to Cleveland. He is going to church now damn near every day, thanking God for saving his life, not to mention his business.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Most High is taking some people out of the danger that is there and has been created for everybody else.
Yeah. Faith.
That make any sense to you, my brother?
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate it.
We're going to encourage you to practice faith all this month.
Absolutely. That's what the deal is. Practice your faith. Visualize what you want. See it in your spirit. Anything that you want, see you getting it. Anything that you don't want, see it passing you by. Every time you visualize things like that, you give it more spiritual energy.
And if it's enabling images, then you receive power from the Most High and guidance from the ancestors.
Absolutely. And right now, we got to guide ourselves back on home. So we're going to wish you peace, which stands for proper education.
Always corrects error.
Peace out, y'all.
Love y'all.
I'm tired a little bit differently. I'm dressed as... Oh, you made it to the end of the video. Well, I am tired a little bit differently. I'm dressed as Baba Amwa. If you would like more of your own understanding, like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
And go to the sites that we have listed around us. The Most High is good.
And the ancestors are kind.
Thanks
for having us on your minds.
Peace.